Hi friends! Welcome to the start of another reading vlog. So I currently, as you can tell, I'm in my car, but I am in the passenger seat this time because I am on the way to Asheville. North Carolina has a beautiful set of mountains in the Blue Ridge Parkway, and Asheville is a really lovely city set in them. I actually went to school in Asheville for my why can't I talk? For my freshman year of college, and it was lovely. And then I transferred to an even smaller mountain town in Boone because I wanted to stay in the mountains, but I don't know, I wanted a bigger car. Anyway, I'm going to Asheville for it's Thursday, so we're going for a long extended weekend with Nick's family. I do have my dogs with me. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? The one sitting up, Riley, has been an absolute hellion. She's new to our family. We got her in February of this year, and she is the youngest of all of us, and she is just a lot of energy, but I love her. We love her. It's just an adjustment because our other dog, Roscoe, is he's very easygoing. He's very quiet. He's basically like a cat. Anyway, I am going to be reading during this trip. I brought with me 3 books, and I started a new audiobook last night when I couldn't sleep because I tend to not sleep very well the night before a trip. So I put on A Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. So I started listening to Nick Cutter's The Deep. And I put that on last night when I couldn't sleep, but that was not relaxing. That did not help me sleep at all. So I was just like searching through Scribd, my audiobook app, and I saw that Song of Achilles was on there. Oh, 1 second. So sorry, my boyfriend was calling me from the vending machines. So like I was saying, I started Song of Achilles, and it is fantastic so far. I have had in my possession Circe by Madeline Miller, and I've had it for like 2 years now and just haven't gotten to it. And I couldn't tell you why. I just haven't gone around to it. One of my trusted friends, book friends, told me that they didn't like it, and I kind of took that to heart. But I turned on Song of Achilles on audiobook. It's fantastic. So far it just gives me all the feels because I studied classics and ancient history in college, so I really loved it. But I do have 3 books with me, so dropping books. Okay, sorry. I just woke up from a long nap, so I'm a little discombobulated. But the 3 books that I have with me for this extended weekend is, of course, Nick Cutter's The Deep. I'm about a little under halfway through, and it is stressful. But I love Nick Cutter, and I love being stressed out, because what are horror fans here for other than to be stressed out by their favorite things in the world? And then I do also have, I do also have the Carohan, I always want to say house, but it's haunt, the Carohan by Darcy Coates. Now, this is a highly unpopular opinion, I think, because Darcy Coates seems to be loved far and wide by horror book fans, but I don't know. I'm about halfway through, and I just had to like pause for a second. It just wasn't really holding me. The writing is very simplistic, and that doesn't mean it's bad. I just feel like it's not doing the things it needs to do to actually scare me, which I kind of understand now why it's called comfort horror by a lot of her fans. It's very not scary, but very atmospheric, and it's very idealistic in terms of horror. Like, it's sort of like adult Goosebumps. And then the 3rd book that I have with me is Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach. This used to be a story that started on the subreddit No Sleep, and I love No Sleep.
Head west toward I-40 West.
And we're getting ready to hit the road again. But yeah, I don't know that I'll get to all of these books, but I will most definitely be at least trying to finish The Deep by Nick Cutter. And I will check in with you when we get to our Airbnb, and I'll give you a little tour. But we're gonna get driving, and I will see you soon.
Stay sexy and don't bother a ghost. Just trying to get the
friends, it is a Friday, so day 2 of my little extended mountain vacation with my boyfriend's family, and it is beautiful. Now I apologize, it might be a little loud. We're right by the road and the noise really echoes, but I did want to just like come at you outside because it is beautiful. It is a beautiful mountain day. Typically in the mountains the weather changes rather rapidly. I actually lived in the mountains for 4 years while I was at college, and seriously never go anywhere without like a raincoat. It's just, don't do it. But it is lovely outside today. I don't know what we have planned today, so I wanted to get ahead of everything and just, you know, talk to you about where I am in terms of reading. I didn't get any reading done yesterday. We spent most of the day traveling, and then when we got here at the Airbnb, we just hung out, went to dinner, had a couple drinks, which is why I look a little ratchet this morning. I can always tell when I've stayed up too late and I've had a few glasses of wine because, wow, look at these bags. So currently I am about almost halfway through The Deep by Nick Cutter, and if you have been with me for a while, you probably remember when I read The Troop by Nick Cutter last year, and it was, to say the least, wild. It stuck with me for a very long time, which is probably why, even though I loved The Troop and I loved Nick Cutter's writing, I did not pick up another book of his. Okay, we are eventually going to get through this update with you. My camera ran out of memory, so I had to switch this the card, and then my tripod broke, so that's where we are this morning. But back to the books. The Deep by Nick Cutter. Yeah, like I was saying, I read The Troop last year and it just really stuck with me, and then I just didn't read any Nick Cutter at all after that. And not because I didn't like it. I loved it. I loved everything about Nick Cutter's writing. It really got under my skin. But I don't know that I was fully ready and had fully digested The Troop until right now. And I actually started this book on audiobook, and I really stressed out about it for a second because I go on early morning walks and sometimes it's dark. And when I popped on the audiobook of The Deep, it was already stressful. It was already spooky and crazy things were happening. So if you don't know what The Deep is about, it is basically about this pandemic, which is very timely right now, called the Gets. And what, oh my God. I don't know. I think that's a truck. Jesus, that scared me. Yeah, I told you it's very loud out here. But the Gets basically makes you forget small things at first, like where you left your keys, etc. And then it makes you forget very important things, like how to breathe or where you live or stuff like that. And so basically the main character, Luke Nelson, gets summoned to help his brother Clayton figure out this cure. And the cure, they think they might have found it at the very bottom of the Pacific Ocean, and it's called ambrosia. It is super interesting. Just like the scientific part of it is very interesting. I've always loved that sort of mad scientist trope, and like scientific discovery tropes that have gone wrong, basically. And so that's what I think that's what it's about to happen. They're inching towards the idea that ambrosia might not be the cure that everyone thinks it is, which is really, really fun and fascinating, but it's also really stressful and creepy. And oh my God, y'all, there's a lot of mention of animals. So if you're really triggered by animals, which I am, but I don't know, I have a very good mind for compartmentalization sometimes, especially when it comes to fiction. But I am very triggered by animals and animal deaths. Nick Cutter might not be the author for you because he is not shy about going there or going anywhere, really. So that's just a warning to you. So that's where I am. I'm hoping to finish it this weekend, but I don't know. And I do have other books that I would like to get to. But yeah, I'm going to try and take you along on some adventures while I'm up here. If I don't, I apologize ahead of time. I have a hard time vlogging in public, so. And also I just like to get I just like to be in the moment. I don't like to be living through my camera all the time. I will update you later.
Feeling in my bones, I can feel it in my veins. Hands in the sky, I can feel the winds of change. You live and you learn, and I hope I've seen enough to make something right and make up for what I've lost. I was down, but things are looking up. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should.
Hi friends. So it is Saturday and I've just been busy, you know, being on vacation. You saw some of the footage. We spent most of yesterday in downtown Asheville. We came across a really cool like hot sauce store, and you could go around and try the hot sauces. My mouth was on fire. I was legitimately sweating, but it was the best time. It was something we just like stumbled upon, and I love those sort of things where you don't really plan, you just sort of get into. The main point of me checking in right now is that I did actually get to read a little bit this morning. Haven't gotten a whole lot of time to read The Deep by Nick Cutter, but the last time I updated you on reading, it was around page 180. And now I'm looking at 239. So I made some decent headway this morning. Probably read about 50, I don't know the math, but it's at least 50 pages. And it's awesome. I love it so much. I'm gonna take my glasses off because the glare is ridiculous. I did have a margarita or two last night, so that's why I look a little ghastly. But this is just getting more and more cerebral and claustrophobic and terrifying. So what's happening right now? I am like past the halfway mark now, and right now things are just like escalating. They're really building to a head, and eventually the other shoe will drop and things will really start to move forward. Right now what's happening is that they have been in the sort of underwater laboratory for a day, maybe a little more than a day, maybe 48 hours tops for sure. And things have already started to mess with them. So when they started the journey to go, so I don't know if I got to mention earlier, but the main character, Luke, has been summoned by the government to go down to this underwater laboratory to help his brother, Clayton. And Clayton and Luke are not close brothers by any sort of means. Clayton is very much, they describe him as a savant. So he's a genius. He knows what he's doing. He's incredibly talented as a scientist, but he's not very personable, and that's an understatement. He's very like blunt and doesn't care about your feelings and just wants to be, you know, immersed in his work. And so Luke is surprised when he hears that Clayton asked for him. So he gets down there and Clayton is like, I absolutely did not ask for you, and that sort of thing. And so they're there and they're just trying to figure things out. Like, why have things gone wrong? Why have certain people done certain things? And so it's been about, at tops, 48 hours. And things are starting to get weird. So they have, you know, they built this premise where, because it's an underwater laboratory and it's like 8 miles into the ocean, deep, 8 miles deep, the pressure starts to sort of play on your mind. Like just being down there without any light, with the immense pressure just like around you, it really wears on someone's mind. And it's already wearing on the main character Luke's mind, and then the military woman that came with him, Al, short for Alice. And so they're having nightmares. Things are just getting stranger. They're hearing things and they can't really distinguish what is real and what is just what they call the sea sillies, because it's just a common known fact that people get a little weird. They get a little twisted when they are that deep in the ocean, away from sunlight and oxygen. One thing that I think Nick Cutter does really well, that a lot of horror authors I think always try to incorporate, but they don't necessarily always do so well, and Nick Cutter is especially good at, is they bring in past traumas to play into the current horror of the situation. And he is very good at incorporating those past traumas and like sort of interweaving them into the current situation, and it's usually a dire situation. So and just to like have sort of an example, I'm not a really big person when it comes, I'm not big on dream sequences. I think that sometimes they just sort of miss the mark for me. You know, they always come with some sort of meaning in a book and I don't always feel like it quite hits the mark, but Nick Cutter makes it very plain what he's getting at, but he does it masterfully, and I really enjoy that. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get a little more read between now and before we have to leave tomorrow. I'm not sure that I will, but I will probably update you if I do. If not, I'll probably update you when we get back home. And I'm hoping to finish this by the time I get back to work. I brought 2 other books with me, but I don't think I'm getting to them, which is fine. Vacation is not about being on a reading schedule, right? Right. And I'm back. I realized that I should have updated you on a sweet little book haul that I got. Every time I visit Asheville, I have to visit the Malaprops bookstore. It is fantastic. I probably showed you footage earlier, but I did get 2 books. I almost got 3, but I was like, let's pump the brakes and use some control, some willpower. Okay, so the 2 books that I got, the first one is The Beautiful Ones by Silvia Moreno Garcia. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I did read Mexican Gothic and I loved it. I probably posted a vlog or will be posting a vlog about it soon. But this one is about a young woman who actually has telekinetic powers, and she ends up meeting someone who also has telekinetic powers and isn't afraid of his gift. In fact, he incorporates it into his sort of persona and his daily life. So I think it's really about their courtship, their powers, and like how they are navigating it together. My best friend Irina has read this and she recommended to me. She said that it made her a little emotional. She's not normally a crier at books. I am. I will cry. I will cry at anything. I will cry at literally nothing. So I'm excited to experience some emotions with this book. The second book that I got, let me put this down. The second book that I got is 10,000 Doors of January, The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. Now, Alex E. Harrow wrote another book recently called The Once and Future Witches, which I read and loved. I read it last year and absolutely loved every single moment of it. Alex E. Harrow's writing is very lyrical, very dreamy, very poetic, without being sort of, there's like a motorcycle group going by. Why is it always when I film things like this happen? But yeah, her writing is just absolutely gorgeous without being like overbearing and overwrought, if you know what I mean. I don't know, sometimes I read books and like the lyricism, which I like, is an element of writing that I like. Sometimes it's too much and sometimes it gets in the way of a solid plot, and Alex E. Harrow's writing is not like that. So this is about a girl who finds a book, and I guess it says, as the ward of the wealthy Mr. Locke, January's scholar feels little different from the artifacts that decorate his sprawling mansion, carefully maintained, largely ignored, and utterly out of place. But when she finds a strange book, one that tells a tale of secret doors, of love, adventure, and danger, for the first time, January realizes she can escape her story and sneak into someone else's. I love that premise, especially knowing how Alex E. Harrow writes. So I'm very excited about that. And that's the two books that I bought so far, and I think that's all I'm gonna buy while I'm on vacation. So I have not gotten much further in the deep since I last talked to you, but I wanted to read you this line that I feel like is hilarious. Not hilarious as in actually funny, but just like coincidental, and maybe it's purposeful on behalf of the author, but it says, every trivial detail is precision calibrated for maximum horror. That describes Nick Cutter's writing to a T. Every trivial detail is precision calibrated for maximum horror. This is what I mean by Nick Cutter gets under your skin. He like takes the smallest things and just like wrenches it up to its like most hyperbolic degree, to where you have no choice but to feel that it is terrifying. So I just wanted to share that line with you so that you sort of get a feel of how Nick Cutter's writing is. So yeah. Also, I wanted to show you, oh, I thought someone came out. I wanted to show you the chocolate that I got. Okay. Does anyone else, when they get like a box of chocolates, do they feel like Miss Trunchbull from Matilda? Where, especially when you're older too, when you're not like young and chocolate is not that exciting or luxurious. Yeah, I don't know. I always feel like chomping down on it like Miss Trunchbull does in the movie for Matilda. But yeah, let me show you what I got. Look how beautiful they are. So we've got some chocolate oranges, some mint meltaways, some caramels, and then some assorted truffles. Some of these are for my boyfriend, but yeah, they look delicious. I'm home. I am approximately less than 100 pages from the end of the deep, and y'all, I have never read a writer in which things haunt me half as much as Nick Cutter's words do. I don't know how to explain things without giving it away, because every little piece is a part of the puzzle and is important. But there are just so many things in this book that just fucks me up. And I don't know how to explain it without you experiencing the book yourself. There are really ridiculous things like certain descriptions of bugs and dream sequences and just character deaths that it seems ridiculous to say that I need a break, but I do. Earlier, I was reading in the car while we were driving back from the mountains to my house, and my phone vibrated against my leg, and I had just finished reading a whole like chapter about bees, y'all. And it was really stressing me out, but because I'm a masochist, I pushed through, and then my phone vibrated against my leg and I screeched in the car. Boyfriend did not appreciate that while he was driving. I screeched. I genuinely was so surprised, and my heart was beating so fast. I don't know if anyone else feels this way about Nick Cutter. Every time I talk to someone about Nick Cutter, I feel like they don't have the same descriptions as I do when it comes to how they react to this book. It's just so visceral. Like some of the things, some of the descriptions, some of the passages, stressful. I watch a lot of horror movies. I've seen a lot of crazy, disturbing things, but something about Nick Cutter's writing really just sticks to my bones, gets into my bloodstream, and I wish I knew how to convey that properly. There is just something about the way he writes that he very much toes the line. He very much crawls over to the line and like stares in its eyeballs type of thing. I think I'm gonna finish this today because I don't think I can take much more of this. I need to finish it today so I can get a break. So I'll update you then. Hi, it's me again. I took a bit of a break from reading because everything was stressing me out in this book. But I am on page 344, which means I am probably about 50 pages from the end. And I just wanted to update you quickly. Things just keep escalating, and I just didn't think they could. But Nick Cutter does that. He just escalates and escalates, and I'm not saying that I'm at my breaking point with this book in a good way, but I'm kind of at my breaking point with this book. And I have to push through to the end because I just don't know if I can do another day of reading this. And you know what? This isn't even his worst book. I placed an order for the book, his book, The Acolyte, and the reviews on that are just shocking. Like, one of them said, this is not a book to like be enjoyed, it's to be endured. God almighty. All right, I'm going to finish. We just went through a couple scenes where it had to do with a certain type of bug, a certain type of wriggling bug that I just am not a big fan of. And then just things. I can't ruin things for you, but it's a lot. Just take my word for it. All right, I'm diving back in. I finished it. Hello, my friends. It is me, Future Jay, coming at you because as I was editing this vlog, I realized that I somehow lost the ending clip, and yeah, I don't know where it went. I must have accidentally deleted it, but I never ultimately got to tell you about what my comprehensive thoughts and opinions were on The Deep, the book we've been reading this whole dang time. So I wanted to go ahead and do that with you here and now. So Nick Cutter, can we just talk about how this man is very plainly a horror genre enthusiast? When you read this book, you can tell that he takes blatant influence from movies like The Abyss and, you know, authors like Stephen King, but he does it well. He mashes up these influences and creates such a very unique reading experience. I really felt like the main character, Luke, was made so ultimately compelling because not only was his journey in the deep sea workstation in the book, was it harrowing, but also his previous tragedies, his backstory was so just gut-wrenching at times, and Nick Cutter did well to bring all of his previous personal tragedies and weave it sort of very seamlessly into the current horrors that Luke, the main character, was going through. Now, the ending was interesting, and I actually had to go ahead and take some time to, you know, process it. It felt very Event Horizon, and that's all I can really say about that at the risk of spoilers. You know, I just want you to read this book and find out for yourself what you think of the ending. I'm curious, if you've read this book, let me know in the comments what you thought of the ending. The ending, I thought, in the most broadest way I can communicate this, I thought it was satisfying, but not satisfying, which seems just appropriate for something of the horror genre. I was talking to a friend the other day, and honestly, I think that we're of the mind that when it comes to happy endings in the horror genre, it's just a no-go. We're not here for happy endings of any sort, and so that's our opinion. So the ending, satisfying but not satisfying, and it was ultimately still a 5-star read for me. As you can see throughout the vlog, I was very stressed reading this, and it just got more and more intense as I moved through the book, and I just have to give Nick Cutter his due props for evoking just so many feelings from me. At one point, I was reading this book and I just burst into tears. I just started sobbing because of one moment that I knew was coming. And then it happened, and I happened to be waiting for dinner to cook. I was at my stove, and yeah, it happened, and I just couldn't help but break down and cry. I don't know when I became such a crier at books, but here I am, almost 30, and we're just getting more sensitive by the day. Anyway, y'all, I'm really glad that I could have shared this reading experience with you because it was truly unique, and getting to be in the mountains while reading this was also really interesting. I would just found myself sneaking moments where I could go back and read this book, and it was such a good payoff. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed your time with me. I really enjoyed making this video. So if you wouldn't mind, hit that like button. It really helps my channel. Hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you always know when I've got spooky things coming to you. Bye, y'all.